Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 18, The Cousins Situation. Welcome, everyone, to another fantastic edition of the Big Chill Podcast. Joined, as always, by Sam and Eddie. So I kind of want to start off with Eddie because I didn't hear from you for a day or so. I know things are going bad in your customer service land, and then I turn on CNN and see that there was a bomb threat to the Eiffel Tower. Got a little worried that might have went really badly with your customer service, but found out it wasn't you, I hope.
No, well, I don't have the necessary phone and internet service to send in a bomb threat, so that's the main thing holding me back. But also, fortunately, it's not the Eiffel Tower sponsored by Orange, because if that were the case, I would 100% be sending in a bomb threat.
I love that the internet is the main thing holding you back, not like the bomb making.
No, not the intent or the rage. It's just the capacity to actually communicate the message.
Or could it have been that the customer service manager was taking his family on a little trip to the Eiffel Tower and you caught wind of it?
Found him. Yeah, I found him. Waited till he got to the top and then just ruined his day.
No, you should wait till they're just about to get to the top and then the bomb threat comes in and they have to bring him back down. And then I can just picture him holding two kids, one in each arm, and the kids are just wailing, crying as he's trying to go back down the stairs.
Well, I called him today, got on the phone, and I said, I heard you had a slightly disrupted trip to the Eiffel Tower yesterday. What a shame. Would be unfortunate if this kept happening to you.
Yeah. And it's even more depressing because then when I looked at my Instagram feed 1 year ago to the day, I was out in Paris having fun, going to bars, staying out late, which is not the norm right now. So
that's over.
It touched home. It touched home.
That's over for all of us now, right? We've got new restrictions coming into force in Paris. So as of Monday, all bars and restaurants will have to close at 10. They won't be selling alcohol in supermarkets after 8. Gyms are going to be closed.
So how does limiting how drunk people are?
Well, it's the same in the UK. So I think it's from today or tomorrow that their 10 p.m. shuts. I think it's because people make stupider decisions when they're out later and drunker. So that the idea would be get them stop drinking sooner, and maybe they'll make less stupid decisions regarding contact.
I feel like that would never happen in London, though, because people would just start drinking earlier.
Yeah, people are just going to drink an hour earlier, right?
Yeah.
The bars and restaurants bit I get. I mean, the restaurants less so. The bars I do get, just because obviously I know of bars here you can go and dance. No one's paying attention to any sort of social distancing or anything. So I get closing those ones down so you don't have that going on. The alcohol one in supermarkets, right, is just the idea that people won't be able to late at night make the decision of having a house party or inviting people over. You can obviously still do that because you can just plan ahead of time and have it, but you can't make any late last minute decisions. What I will say that sucks is the timing. So 10 o'clock here to close a bar for basically all of the football. Almost every match, by football I mean European football. Almost every match midweek or in the evening, when the Champions League comes back, it all finishes at 10:30. So you're going to be, if you do decide to go to a bar to watch a Champions League match, you're going to get kicked out at halftime. So that's a little bit of a downer. They could have maybe extended it to 11 just to factor that in. But
do you think that was at the top of the priority list when you were factoring in the times?
Not the top.
Hey guys, wait. When does Champions League end again? We want to make sure that we don't screw over Eddie and the 4 other people at Bugsy's.
Well, no, but the idea of not shutting the bars and restaurants down, right, was to still allow them to make money. But now you're putting them in a situation of when there's a major sporting event on, they're going to close at halftime. So now no one's going to go there. So they may as well not be open. So in a sense, you may as well be shutting them down. That's the only thing is like either you have the sense of being like, look, if PSG are playing in the Champions League match, we may as well we want the bar to still get people in. So now we'll put regulations in place as to how many people can be in there, but we want to at least allow them to maximize that ability, keep them open till 11. But now you're like 10, you lose both ways. Sorry, guys. Good luck.
I mean, Eddie, I just fear for your safety. You're not going to have internet. You're going to be able to drink less. You can't watch as many sports because of the bars kicking you out. Do we need to keep an eye on you?
Oh, no, I'm just going to come out like a totally different man. I'll be unrecognizable.
Are we sure it wasn't you that called in that bomb threat?
No, it'll be the opposite.
Like just passing the time.
6 months from now, my career will be flying. I'll just be, like really on top of everything. People will be like, it'll be like, like Limitless. It'll be that same idea, but instead of like accessing the like additional 90% of my brain, it's just that I've freed up like 23 hours of my day. So it's just going to be amazing.
It's definitely, there's truth to it. When I first moved to Toronto, I was by myself. So all I did was basically work, go to the gym, and then just go home and sleep. And that was the most productive year of my entire life so far. Like, I look back on that year, I had more academic accomplishments in that year than I probably have in the past 5. Because it's like there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll pack a PhD into the next couple of months. Who knows?
Yeah. So before we start, I just want to throw a quick one out here. Are either of you fans of licorice?
Wait, I think I've heard this story.
Red or black?
Either.
Black, absolutely no. I think it's one of the most disgusting things on earth.
Racist.
Yeah, but red licorice, like a Twizzler, yeah, sure. I'm not going out of my way for one, but every once in a while, sure.
I know the story, Frank.
And you should be safe, Eddie, because I just read a story this morning that a man died from eating too much black licorice.
He ate a bag a day.
He was eating like a bag a day for several weeks straight, and apparently there's some sort of compound in it that puts you really low in potassium, and it can cause like irregular heartbeats and things like that. And then he died of a heart condition that was related to the irregular heartbeats from eating too much black licorice.
What a way to go.
What a way, eating one of the grossest candies on the planet. So you should be fine. You're okay. Red licorice, that'll just cause diabetes. That's a slow death.
Well, I mean, also,
okay.
I mean, you actually don't see red licorice sold here anyway. Like, it's kind of a purely American thing almost. So whenever I see licorice here, it's exclusively black.
Yeah, in the States, there's always that big debate of whether it's Twizzlers or Red Vines. That's like a very, very regional debate in the United States. It's quite annoying. But
where are you leaning on
just,
that, then?
I'm just used to Twizzlers. I think Twizzlers are better. But it's one of those things where people take it way more seriously than they should. Where like I'm like, hey, do you want a Twizzler? A Twizzler? Are you kidding me? Oh, we only eat Red Vines in this house.
Who are you talking
relax.
to?
It's a fucking candy.
who are you talking to with that voice?
Mr.
An older man. Mr. Vine. He just gets really red in the face when you offer a Twizzler. That's why they came up with Red Vines.
Smacking you in the face with his Twizzler.
Oh, I bet you'd like that one. So let's get to our picks from last week. How did we do? I did not look at all. Ooh, so I'm interested to see how each of us did.
You know what? Let's start with Frank.
I got some bad news for you, Frank.
Yeah, I know it wasn't a good week.
Week 1 wasn't good for you, and week 2 got worse. Now, I will say this. We all did pretty well in terms of money line, just picking the winner. So the best of the week there was Sam. He was 14-2. I was 13-3, and you were 11-5. So overall there.
I don't understand how this is happening because once again, in my confidence pool, I only had 3 wrong in my confidence pool. So what am I doing that I can't physically put in the same picks?
I don't know. But
luckily,
that's
we can tell you.
Yeah, that might be some warning signs there for something else. But Now, against the spread, Sam continued his tear. He is on a 2-week tear so far on his NFL picks. He went 11-5 for the second week in a row against the spread.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he was 10-5.
And that's not the squid. That's just Sam.
No, this is just regular Sam.
San squid.
San squid. So wait, Sam without squid or Sam the squid?
Sam without squid.
Sam without squid. Okay.
So Sam's improved to 21-10-1 overall for the season. So I mean, if he keeps that up for 17 weeks,
he could be on ESPN.
He could own ESPN. Now, for the spreads, the story of the spread was a little bit sadder for both of us. I had an absolute nightmare week. I went 5-11 against the spread. So my overall situation has dropped to 15-16 and 1. Not great. You had a slightly better week in that you went 7-9 against the spread, but you're 14-17 and 1 against the spread. So we have two people marginally under 50%, and we have one guy absolutely flying. And so all I can say is,
what are the trends that you've uncovered?
Well, basically that neither of us are very good at picking against the spread.
I thought you were going to say you were really bad at picking NFC South teams or something like that.
It's too early to. Yeah. I mean, Sam and I were talking off the pod about the fact that the interesting thing about this is maybe after 5 or 6 weeks we're going to really be able to see that one of us favors home teams or one of us hates picking teams that are favored by more than 7 points or whatever. 2 weeks into it, it's a little too early to draw any of those conclusions.
Wow, we're going to dig that deep into the analytics? Should we call Bill Barnwell up? Should we call Bill Barnwell up to analyze our picks using analytics? So not only is he analyzing the games of who he's going to pick, he will then take our picks based off of what we think and analyze those.
Yeah, that sounds good.
He'd love it.
See if we can.
He'd love that.
See if we can if we give him a cheeseburger, he'll do it. But we'll see what happens. But I will say this: Sam has a pretty significant lead now in the spread picking contest. If he has one more week where he kind of kills us, it's going to start to become tough to catch him, even at this early stage. If he is 15 games ahead of us, it's going to take either a major collapse on his part or a few incredible weeks from us. This thing could be over by week 5.
Yeah. and Frank, the squid's already in your head, right? I don't want to go before you in picks because I don't want to get in your head with my picks now.
Well, now
I'm only worried of the squid.
Get smart now. He's going to go after us and he's just going to copy our picks just to maintain the gap.
No, I am not a fan of maintaining gaps. Either I go for gold or I trip over my feet and don't even make it to the finish line.
Well, so far we've seen which one you're trending towards.
No, I'm just got off to a slow start. I'm sitting back.
Slow start is in Sam's already at the 20-yard line and you've yet to get out of the blocks.
Listen, is Sam going to be that horse that takes the 20-length lead and holds it out like Serpentine at the Derby? Or is he going to be one of Aidan O'Brien's 8 horses that goes off to the start and barely finishes and is dead a year later?
Wow.
We don't. Well, he could be a little bit of both, right? He could hold on to the lead
be
and
dead a year later.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
He's already died once. We had to bring him back.
Yeah.
So let's do week 3 then. I'll tell you what, this is, for me, by far the best week so far of football, both in terms of, I mean, I guess not in a fun way, but in being a very challenging week to pick, especially against the spread, but also just some of the games in general are some really good games. Obviously showcased by the Monday night Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson game, which is going to be awesome.
You mean tonight's game rather than Monday's game?
It's off to.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I'll say this: if one of us goes 13-3 or 14-2 straight up in this week, then that will be extraordinarily impressive.
Yeah, I mean, so for instance, Eddie and I are in a survivor pool, and I struggled to even pick a team that I had a good amount of confidence in that could win.
I didn't. but we'll see. How
You say that now, but you took the Colts, right?
I took the Colts, which is because I think
you're relying on Phillip Rivers, Eddie. Just that it doesn't matter how good the Colts are. You're relying on Phillip Rivers.
I'm not just relying on Phillip Rivers.
You're relying on Phillip Rivers.
I'm also relying on the Jets.
Yeah,
I'm relying on the Jets being totally incompetent, and that's going to be like they couldn't come back against a Niners team last week, which was like close to, as we said on Monday, like dragging me out to play. So the fact, like the Colts.
Oh, you said that. We didn't say that.
Oh,
I made no mention that you were close to being on that field.
Some other people said it. It was trending on Twitter very briefly.
So let's jump in Thursday night. Get that amazing affair over with.
Yeah. Do you want to do the honors, Sam, or should I announce the official line?
Oh no, I can do it. I'll bring it in. So, seeing as I missed last Thursdays, so kicking it off with an absolute corker. I mean, Dolphins at the Jags. It genuinely surprises me to say that the Jags are spread favorites of -3, which might be a first to see them favorites regardless. But we're off to a great start watching this. What do you guys think?
I wish I had like a sound drop right now, because tonight I'm going for some Fitz magic, and I'm going to take the Dolphins to win this one. So obviously I'm taking them with the points.
Wow.
But I have no faith it's more to me, I have no faith in the Jags, and it's difficult for me to imagine picking the Jags to win a game, even if they've been like relatively impressive through the first 2 weeks. I just struggle with that one a little bit. So maybe I'll regret
won
this
already.
I know
They're
that
1-1.
No, but I'm saying I would struggle to pick them to win a game. I'm not saying that they won't win a game. I mean that
you would struggle to pick them to win a game, but
exactly.
yet they can still win games.
Yes. Yeah. Well, most teams win a game, like the 0-16 is pretty rare. So even the Jets are probably going to win a game this year, and I'm not going to be picking them the week that they do. But I'm just going to say I think the Jags still are terrible. And so in the battle of two terrible teams, I'd definitely rather take the points and may as well also take the Dolphins to win.
Okay. So Dolphins and covering the spread, obviously. So Frank?
So I'm going the opposite right off the bat. I'm going to take the Jaguars. I think -3 isn't that much. I am a bigger fan of Minshew Mania than Fitzmagic, and I don't know. I just can't wait. I already got my dinner waiting. I got popcorn, maybe some nachos, a few beers. I'm ready to go, and this is going to be a barn burner. I'm excited. Beautiful.
I'm with Frank on this one. I actually watched a little bit of the Jags, and yeah, Minshew. I kind of liked watching him, and I just think I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars and the -3 as well.
Now, Eddie, had we just had Sam's pick, why would you have guessed?
If I was just...
If you were just following this non-squid.
Oh, if I'm just trying to give his logic as to why he's picked the Jags here?
Without a doubt, he's a fan of Minshew.
Oh, no, I think in this instance, it's more that he really likes the idea of putting himself in some like leopard print tight clothing. And so he doesn't really care that much about the outcome of the game, but he could really get on board in being like a male cheerleader for the Jags.
My picks win you money. Do you ultimately care what I'm wearing?
Anytime he can put on a leopard print, Sam is in.
Yeah, never says no.
I'm not disagreeing. So on that logic, I'll just move on. Bears at the Falcons. And we have the Falcons 3-point favorites.
Yeah, I'll start off on this one. I am not sold on the Bears. Any team that probably should have lost to the Giants is not a team I have confidence in. And if you take 30 seconds away from that Cowboys game, the Falcons were up and should have won that game, had them dead to rights. So I mean, look, they played pretty good against the Cowboys, so I have a feeling that they can take care of, even though the Bears are 2-0, which is pretty surprising. I think the Falcons can win this pretty easily, actually. I think they might win by double digits.
Yeah, I like the Falcons a lot in this one. I'm trying not to read too heavily into the Falcons-Cowboys game, either one way or the other, because obviously I think the Cowboys turned the ball over 4 times in the first quarter, or like just a little bit over the first quarter. So they're probably not going to get that many great field positions again. But still, I think, coming into the season, I know that we liked them quite a lot. And I'm just trying to ignore more how terrible their secondary looked in week 1. I'm going to assume that the Bears are going to score, a few touchdowns in this, just because it doesn't look like the Falcons can easily stop anyone. So
they've let up 78 points so far in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, I'm going to have to assume at least 20 coming out of this one, right? But their offense looks really good. So, I'm going to take the Falcons and assume they win. I'm going to imagine they win, I think, by 7 to 10 points, but it's going to be high scoring. I would definitely – it's tough to say. I would definitely take the over because the Bears kind of struggle to move the ball at times. So even against the Falcons, they might find it hard. But, yeah, I like the Falcons a lot.
The over's 47.5.
I would take the over.
That seems low. All right. I'm going against you. Both. So I think the thing with the Bears is they're not pretty, but they seem to be putting lipstick on that pig. They just seem to keep winning. And I am not a huge fan of teams that go through what the Falcons did. I think they come a little bit shell-shocked. Maybe they come back with a purpose. Maybe they do exactly what you guys are saying. But I think, that can kind of change a team. So I'm going to go the Bears to win. And obviously covering the spread as well.
What a surprise. Sam cannot turn down an opportunity with a bear.
I'm pretty sure you would find in most teams a homosexual reference if you really tried hard enough.
Oh, trust me, I've already done it and I didn't have to try very hard.
All right, we're going to have to keep going then. I think Rams and Bills might be quite an easy one. So let's just wait for that one. Next game.
Oh, the next one might be the easiest of all. Please tell me, who do you like in the... Oh, no, we don't have that one next.
No, we don't have it yet. It's the Bengals at the Eagles. And the Eagles are 4.5-point favorites.
Why don't you lead us off, Sam? Let us know who you like.
So I've actually liked Burrows. I've actually gone with the Bengals both weeks. So I went for them. Granted, they lost against the Browns, but I got them to cover the spread. I just think Wentz is terrible, and I think the Eagles look absolutely atrocious. And I think that's a team that looks atrocious versus a team that are pretty bad, but at least they have like a really good rookie quarterback that I think is actually having a pretty good start. So I'm going to go for that to be the difference. So I'm going to go with the Bengals, and 4.5 is quite an awkward spread for a close game, because if it's 5 or above, it starts looking like a comfortable win. It's kind of that difference between what should be a tight game. So the 4.5 makes me struggle, but I'm probably going to say that they win, but they don't cover it. So I'm going to go with the Bengals, but I'm going to say that they don't cover the spread.
Wait, the Bengals are getting 4.5.
The Bengals are getting 4.5.
Sorry. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, okay, you can scrap that. You can scrap my terrible logic. So, no, the Eagles are getting...
The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites.
Okay, I'm reading my own right. I'm wrong.
So in that instance, if you think the Bengals are going to win, you've got the Bengals.
No, exactly.
See, I saw it this morning at +6, so +4.5 changes things a little bit.
Lines have been crazy today.
Yeah.
I've been watching them from this morning, afternoon, evening, and some of them have moved by 2.5 points.
Yeah, we should, as we said in last week, right? We are using Bet365's lines at the time of recording. That's what we're using as our resource each week. So obviously lines may vary slightly from one bookmaker to another. And obviously
and then Bet365, when you hear this, make sure you call us up for a sponsor.
Yeah, and also as we saw last week, right, we can see a line shift pretty dramatically between when we record and when the games actually go off. Like last week when we picked the Rams game, they were favorites at the time that we made our picks on the Thursday night. And by the time the game actually kicked off, they were 1 to 2 point underdogs, depending where you were looking.
Exactly. So I'll change what I'm saying basically is that I think the Bengals will win and they'll cover the spread because of it, but I think it will be a really close game. But obviously, because I'm going Bengals, I'll take the spread, obviously. So.
See, now for me, this is a really tough one because the Eagles in the NFC East still have every chance to make the playoffs, even at 0-2, just because that NFC East is so weak. But eventually they need to start getting wins. And I can't imagine that they're going to get a better opportunity to get a win than against another 0-2 Bengals team. And, you know, the Bengals aren't playing as bad as I thought they would. And Burrow does look pretty good. I think he threw for over 300, had a few TDs last week, you know, against a decent team in the Browns. So they're playing pretty well, but I just have to think that this is the Eagles have realized that this is their chance. If they lose this game, even like I said, that NFC East is weak. I don't think going in 0-3 and losing to teams that aren't even that great when you look at it, that they've played in the Redskins and the Bengals, they're going to be shit out of luck. So this is a must-win for them. I'll pick the Eagles to win. The tough part comes with the spread, where last week we saw Eddie and I pick the Browns to cover against the Bengals, and the Bengals kind of came back and made a game of it. 4.5 isn't that much. I'll stick with the Eagles to cover.
Okay. I don't actually think this is a tough one. I think the Bengals are bad. I think Joe Burrow is looking pretty good, and I think it's kind of almost fooling people into thinking that the Bengals are decent. But I think they're still terrible, and they're only going to end up winning 3 or 4 games this year, and at most. And this isn't going to be one of them. So I think picking the Eagles to win is pretty straightforward for me. 4.5 points is kind of it is at a slightly tricky limit, but based on my confidence of the Eagles winning, I'd be foolish, I think, to then think that I expect it to be a really close game. So yeah, I'm taking the Eagles to cover the spread as well.
Okay. And Eddie, you're really good at talking up a game, huh?
So we've
sorry,
you're really good at creating excitement for a game.
So far, it's not my fault. We're like running the gauntlet of bad teams.
Eddie, you and I have gone against each other on every game so far.
I know. I'm closing this gap in one.
Both money line and spread. Okay, I'm starting to see what's happening. All right, Eddie, you're up. Texans at the Steelers, and the Steelers are 4-point favorites.
This is a really tough one for me. Like, I think the Steelers are good. I think the Texans are actually pretty decent. They just are unfortunate that they've maybe played the 2 best teams in the league so far. So they look, they've been blown out basically in 2 games, but it's hard to know what that really means. That being said, the Steelers they've done the job so far. They've not been spectacular. Their defense is good. They have maybe the best wide receivers in the league. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win. And I don't love taking them to cover the 4-point spread, but I'm going to do it just because until the Texans show me that they can win games and that they're actually pretty decent, I'm going to be hesitant picking them. So this is going to be an interesting one for me. I might feel totally different about the Texans in week 4 than I do in week 3. But even though I don't know how to interpret their first 2 weeks, I can't just sort of cross my fingers and hope that they're decent.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about this one, like you've already touched on, is that the Texans have had such a tough start with the Ravens and the Chiefs that this is almost their first game of a step down. Still, pretty tough opposition in the Steelers, but it's their first step down. Whereas the Steelers, arguably this is their first step up, right? They play the Giants, and who was it week 1? I can't remember, but it wasn't anyone.
Giants week 1, Broncos week 2.
Yeah, so you wouldn't say it was anyone kind of like better than average. So as Eddie says,
anyone average.
It's kind of, I think it's a bit of an unknown entity, but the thing is, because of that, I'm more inclined to take the team that aren't favored in the spread. So I'm more inclined to go for the team that's already played two of the best teams and is stepping down, as opposed to a team that's played two average teams and stepping up. So I'm going Texans, and obviously the +4.
Wow, the trend continues.
The trend, Eddie. This could be an absolute make or break week for our competitive side.
Gentlemen, this is as easy as it gets. Easy as it gets.
Duke a curse. Who's he cursing?
Well, I know. No. I'm just going to tell you now. We know who he's taking. We can skip the rest. He's taking the Texans. He thinks the Steelers are terrible.
Cursed me.
It's time to expose the Steelers for what they are. A 2-0 team that's beaten two minor league teams right now in the Giants and the Broncos. Wait until Deshaun Watson bulldozes through that leaky-ass defense. I cannot wait for this. If I would take the Texans -4. I'll go the other way with the points. That's how confident I am.
That might need to be your bet of the week. You need to put your money where your mouth is here on this one.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Oh, Eddie, I'll put my money in your mouth. I'm so confident.
I don't know how that shows confidence, but okay.
I'm so confident you won't bite my hand off.
That would be one of the most awkward displays of confidence I've ever seen in like a bar. Some guy just walking up to it and just shoving.
Oh no! In fairness, actually,
come on. How confident must that guy be to just walk up to someone and shove money in someone's mouth?
He must know something.
No, but there's two different things. That is confidence. If you just walked up to someone and shoved some bills into their mouth, like actually inside their mouth, that's tremendous confidence, and it's hard.
You got to do
back
coins.
No, coins.
No, because then you
just shove a couple.
Smash his teeth in with a load of coins.
But either way, I'll just say this now: if there's anyone out there who wants to shove a few bills into my mouth, I'll take it.
Okay, speaking of the next game, perfect. Rams at the Bills.
Oh, what a setup!
What a setup! I was loving it. Bills, 2.5-point favorites.
And speaking of someone who wants a few bills in their mouth, I am pretty sure Sam would take Josh Allen any day, anytime.
Why do you take my jokes every time?
You know what? Absolutely.
He's tall.
You know, Sam, if you could actually try and do that, you know, like those girls who went viral with the podcast about the one of them blowing all the suns. If you could just go and blow all of the bills, we might, really go viral here.
Sam is what's holding us back from being the number one podcast.
Man. Something's going viral.
What do you want us to do? To go try and hook up with the U.S. female soccer team?
Yes, Frank. Yeah. Frank, why don't you go and try and hook up with like the Phoenix whatever WNBA team is there, and we'll find out very quickly how little no one cares.
Is it the Phoenix Sparks? No, that can't be it.
No, that's the LA Sparks, I think.
Yeah, I was close.
I'm
not even going to bother to look that up.
That'll be a weird podcast. That'll be a weird podcast documentary, wouldn't it? Frank trying to do that as I'm trying to do something else.
Yeah. Now, this is going to be an interesting one for me. I've liked the Rams. I've picked the Rams and the Bills so far in every game. So
I'm doing it here too.
So this is a tough one for me because I've liked both of them so far. Obviously, I was pretty bold in my predictions for the Bills preseason. I've liked the Rams in week 1 and week 2 so far. It's an interesting matchup because I think even though the Bills offensively have looked pretty good this year, the odd Josh Allen throw aside, the Rams offensively have looked a little bit like the kind of offense that made them so dangerous a couple of years ago. That being said, I think this is where it kind of grinds to a halt a little bit. I think the Bills' defense is good enough to contain them. Not completely, but enough that then they're able to put up enough points to beat them. So I think the Bills win this, and I think they cover the spread.
Okay. Frank?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, this could be the second best game of the week, which is surprising because a few years ago, if you said the Rams and the Bills was one of the best games of the week, you'd be shocking anybody. I think even the crazier part to say is you're looking at two extremely good offenses. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Bills had a good offense, and now they're just on fire. I mean, Josh Allen is a potential MVP candidate right now. maybe he's not top 1 or 2, but I mean, he's up on that list of the top 5, which is impressive. You know, he's 6 passing TDs, no interceptions. It's tough. Are the Rams back to what they were? I don't know, but I think I'm going to stick with the Bills. You know, I've liked the Bills all season. We've all been pretty high on them, so I'll stick with them. The spread is low enough that I'll take them to win and to cover.
Yeah, I'm going Eddie. We're on par here. I'm going with the Bills as well, minus 2.5 as well.
How come I'm not even in the talk anymore? I'm only 1 or 2 more back of Eddie. It's not like
he doesn't mean this.
47 back.
But so far, you and Sam have agreed on a couple games so far this week. So this is the first game that Sam and I have agreed on.
Yeah. And for me, I think in the first 2 games, Allen's thrown just over 700 yards. So the Bills are going to put up points. And I just think kind of home field advantage. I just think they're going to prove that they're the real deal. And I think this is the game where they're going to do that. So I'm going with the Bills minus 2.5.
So what do you think of the over on this, over-under at 47? You have 2 good scoring teams, but you have a very good defense in the Bills.
I'd take the under if I'm taking the Bills to win, because then I start to think, what's the score combination that leads to a Bills win? And it's probably going to be something like 24-17, around that mark, 24-20. So the 47, that's a good number for the over-under, but I would lean more towards the under.
Actually, a pretty good stat. The Rams have only allowed 18 points per game. The Bills have allowed 22. So points-wise, the Rams have the better defense right now. And in total yards, the Bills have let up a little less than the Rams. So statistically, they're pretty close. And considering, the Bills have played Miami and the Jets, 2 not great offenses. And the Rams have played the Eagles and Cowboys, marginally better offenses, but not much. I think I would take the over here. I think you're looking at a 31-27 or something like that.
Okay. Raiders at the Patriots. And the Patriots are 5-point favorites. Frank.
Yeah, this is another one of those tough ones that, do you believe in the Raiders? I guess is what it comes down to. They're 2-0, had a nice win against New Orleans. Are they the real deal? I'm going to go with no, they are not the real deal. I think that the Patriots will win. Cam Newton seems to be, consistent. He's getting better every game. I think this game he's gonna go off, have about 300 yards passing, 3-4 TDs total. I think they win. It's 6 is the spread you have?
Yeah.
I think the Raiders will keep it close. I'll take the Raiders plus 6, but I'll take the Pats to win.
Eddie?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots to win. I know that the Raiders had a good win on Monday. I don't know how much of that was Drew Brees maybe turning into old Drew Brees and the Saints missing Thomas and just not really being on their best game. The Raiders, I think, defensively still are not very good. So I think that the Patriots will move the ball against them. I don't know if James White's going to be back for this game. That would help the Patriots if he is, because he is a serious upgrade on Sony Michel. But obviously it's difficult to know if he'll be back. I haven't read anything about whether, because obviously his parents died. I don't know what the arrangement is there in terms of if he's taking some time away from the team. But I also think Bill Belichick, the week after a really disappointing defeat for them, only disappointing in the sense that they had the opportunity to win on the final play. I think you'll have him really, not that he's never not focused, but you'll have him really determined to get the kind of Patriots back on track. So I'm going to take the Patriots to win and to cover the spread.
Okay. Yep. So we're going full house. Everyone's going Patriots. And for me, I think Breeze was pretty bad in that game, but the Raiders looked so bad in the first quarter. It was crazy. And I don't think that kind of offense that the Raiders have is going to post 34 points here. I think I read a crazy stat that against the Saints, so even though the Saints were playing pretty badly, I still think the average Raiders, they were giving up about 6.5 yards a play or something crazy like that. And I think when you've got someone like Cam Newton throwing and running as well as he was last week, I think that's a problem for the Raiders. So I'm going Patriots and -6 on the spread as well.
Yeah, and the Raiders would have given up more yards per play. It's just the issue is that Drew Brees can't throw over 7 yards now. So,
yeah. So the average of like 6.5, 6.7, perfect.
Yeah, it was just exactly his maximum distance. He was giving it his all. He was in his mind. He was like, "Oh, deep bomb here, 5-yard completion."
CTE does wonders for your depth perception.
Yeah, that's why he had to put his records on his cleats going into the game. People thought it was him like kind of showing off a little bit. He was just trying to remind himself that he's actually like a professional football player. You know, everyone, like in between plays, he was just looking down. He was like, "Oh, I'm Drew Brees. I'm quarterback for the Saints. I was good."
Wow. And that character assassination of Drew Brees aside, we got to go to Eddie for the next one. So we'll do 49ers at the Giants. The 49ers are 3.5-point favorites. What do you think of those injuries? Is 3.5 points fair to? What about that line, Eddie?
I think it's a pretty fair spread. It's tough to judge. The Niners' defensive line has been destroyed. That's the real issue. The other injuries, I think, they can mostly cover up for with what they have. That being said, I think Barkley being out for the Giants is obviously a big miss. And I also think from the Niners' perspective, at least, that's removed a major weapon that they don't have to worry about. So that changes the way they're going to approach the game defensively.
Eddie, I mean, I'm as big a Saquon fan as there is. But how much of a threat is it when after 2 weeks your leading rusher is Daniel Jones? And that leading rushing amount is 43 yards.
Oh,
so
no,
how effective is Saquon Barkley really right now?
Well, right now he's not effective at all. He can't even walk. But
hey, listen. He had -7 yards week 1, so if anything, he's doing better than what he did in week 1.
But you still know, like, you will game plan for Saquon going into there, and any moment he's in the backfield as a defense, you would be alert to the fact that you have one of the top 5 running backs in the game back there. And now you'll be thinking, okay, the Giants' running game, even if it was already, shall we say, frail, even if it was already looking a little frail.
I picture them with the double walker.
Yeah, well, Saquon's
trying to do the double walker with the tennis balls on it. He's trying to slide on the turf.
Well, you know that they.
But he's having trouble because the turf is sticky, according to the Niners.
Yeah, well, you know that they like taping tennis balls to things, so that makes perfect sense. Yep. If you tape tennis balls to the bottom of your walker, you don't get holding calls against you. So,
wow, Eddie found a loophole in the NFL regulations there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I still think it's a everyone can talk negatively about Saquon and how he wasn't running the ball effective, like carrying the ball effectively, and he also is bad in blocking, but I still think the Giants will miss him.
For me, I've watched both Giants games painstakingly, and this is not a difficult pick. The Niners, I mean, Eddie's worried that they don't have a defensive line. It's okay because the Giants don't have an offensive line even when they're healthy. I mean, case in point, Saquon Barkley has under 40 yards in 2 games, and he's one of the best backs in the league. You know, he had -7 the week 1. They can't block for the run at all. They can barely protect Daniel Jones, and then when Daniel Jones does get under pressure, he'll either throw a dumb pick or he'll just fumble the ball and give it to them. So a depleted defensive line couldn't have happened to a better team because the Giants can't block anyway. In terms of passing, this is one instance where I would say Eddie could be the quarterback of the Niners and you could rip apart the Giants secondary. They don't have a secondary. I mean, anyone can throw against the Giants. So whether it's Garoppolo, whether it's Mullins, whether it's Hewitt, doesn't matter. So for me, I think 3 is an overreaction to a few injuries when you still have a solid team and a solid coaching staff in the Niners who will basically just run it down the Giants' throat and then play action pass over the top and burn them all day. I think the Niners could win this by 15.
This is interesting because this is one of the lines where it's actually been bet down. So
Yeah,
the Niners were 5, maybe a day or so ago when I saw, and it's now 3.5. So
Well, that might be in reaction, right? Like it seems like Kittle is back practicing
spaghetti arms.
But it seems likely that he sits this week out based on the noises coming out of the Niners camp. So it's probably a reaction to news like that, where the injury problems from the Niners' perspective aren't getting any better, at least not in time for this game. So that's my guess as to why that move is happening. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm all on board the Mullins train. Like, he impressed when he got his few starts a couple seasons ago. I see no reason. I definitely don't see Mullins as a downgrade on Jimmy G. So I'm not concerned about who the quarterback is.
I did. To be fair, you guys have said everything I was going to, and Frank did as well. So it's pretty easy to have all these injuries in your defensive line when the team can't throw for shit or have any offensive yards themselves. So for me, the 3.5 line's attractive enough. So I'm going 49ers and the -3.5 as well. Speaking of potential train wreck teams at the moment, we've got the Titans at the Vikings, and the Titans are 2.5 point favorites.
I'm just going to say right now, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm picking the Vikings again.
Vikings.
3 weeks in a row. Just the 3 weeks in a row. Just inject Kirk Cousins straight into my veins.
Oh my God. Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
I like that.
You dirty bitch. All right. And that's it, yeah? Just inject. That's your preview of the Vikings Titans.
I just think that
Kirk Cousins into my veins.
That's their game plan.
How do you want us to liquefy him first? How would you want us?
No,
to
it'd be
do
like
this?
one of those cartoon ones.
Do you want a blood
where they
transfusion?
transfer blood and they just flatten as it just gets bigger.
Exactly. I take on all of his powers. But Here's my take. I like the Vikings coming into the season. I still think they've got lots of talent on both sides of the ball. The Titans, who I've picked in both weeks so far and who I think are good, and in a weird way, even though I'm going to pick the Vikings in this, the fact that the Titans are only 2.5 point favorites is another example of how they kind of don't get the level of respect that they probably should get. Because you are talking about a team that won playoff games last year, has looked okay so far, and is playing against a team that has looked disastrous, and they're only 2.5 point favorites. So I've said all that. Now I'm going to say I think this is the week that the Vikings kind of figure it out a little bit. I'm not too scared of the Titans because I think they're good, but I don't think they're great. And so for maybe the final week this year, I'm picking the Vikings.
This, Eddie, we're going to divulge here. We're going to diverge big time because for me, watching that Vikings performance against the Colts last week was one of the most painful things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there was no pass rush. There was no anything with that Vikings team. And the cherry on that shit Sunday was Kirk Cousins. So if you want him in your veins, so be it. But all day long. And I take your point massively about the Titans. I think comparing performances and comparing the Titans' ability, 2.5 seems crazy, and it does seem down to what you were saying that they just don't seem to. No one just seems to give them daylight. Everyone just thinks at some point it's going to end, or it's some sort of weird momentum thing. It just
it's ending.
It's
ending this week at the hands of Kirk Cousins. He's taking Ryan Tannehill out. He's taking Ryan Tannehill out behind the shed, and he's putting him out of his misery.
Okay. Frank.
What's really funny is when I looked at this spread, the first thing I thought to myself was, Vikings, you screwed me once, you screwed me twice, but I'm going to stick with you. I thought the exact same thing that Eddie thought. And at this point, I think I just have to invest in the fact that eventually the Vikings are going to win. I'm not as confident. I don't
Welcome
want
aboard,
Cousins.
Frank.
I don't want Cousins injected into me. I don't want any of Cousins' bodily fluids in my body. But
just
having
honest.
Yeah, you can take him round the back of the shed and do something else with him.
Kirk Cousins will just glaze you.
Eddie, that would be devastating for you because everyone knows you love a good glazed donut.
I do. Yeah, I'm a simple man. Just give me some glaze.
But yeah, so eventually they've got to win, right? I mean, they were a good team these past few years, and they've lost Stephon Diggs. But other than that, it's not like it's a brand new team. Same coaching, same quarterback, same running back. So they've got to start scoring points. Something's got to happen. And I will say, I remember last year when everyone got all over Kirk Cousins and said he sucked and said he wasn't good, and he came out and had 3 devastatingly, brutally good games in a row. And maybe it's about that time where he gets a little fire under his ass, realizes he has one of the most overpriced contracts in the NFL and has to play well for 2 weeks to make up for that overpriced contract, and then he can go into dumps again. So I'm with Eddie. This is the week they turn it around. The Titans, yeah, they're a playoff team, but they barely beat the Broncos. They barely beat the Jaguars. I mean, how great of a team can they be, right?
Well, they might be good enough to barely beat the Vikings.
Yeah.
Which
I'm happy with that 2.5.
Which means they win the game and they cover the spread. So if they win by in a last second field goal, we're still out of luck.
I feel like you've given me a freebie then. Thank you, guys. Browns, Washington at the Browns, and the Browns are 7-point favorites.
So I will start this one. Washington football team. I'm not going to mess it up this time. I think I've messed it up both weeks in a row. They've played better than I thought they were, in the sense that they're at least, I mean, they have a win, and that's more than I thought they were going to have after 2 weeks. I think the Browns win this. They seem to have gotten their shit together. Odell Beckham, shout out. I think they will win. They're much more talented. But if they let Cincinnati back into that game, I wouldn't be surprised if they let Washington back into this game. The thing that scares me is the Washington football team. That defensive line has looked pretty good these first 2 weeks. And if we know one thing about Baker Mayfield is he gets very nervous when that line starts coming at him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a stupid pick or makes a dumb fumble to cough up some points. So I think they'll keep it close, but I got Browns to win, Redskins to cover. Oh, shit. God damn it.
Amazing.
Oh, my word.
So happy. I am so happy. I had almost lined up a couple of things to be like, how can I
do it?
enough to say it? You racist asshole.
Washington to cover.
What a racist.
How did I do it? Oh.
Well, I'll try and recover here for us. I thought the Browns looked really good against the Bengals in the sense that I think the Bengals are bad, but I thought they looked like they had their mojo back. And as we spoke, like I thought Mayfield, like his body language and his energy was really good. And they didn't even actually, the fact that he also spread the ball around, so he didn't overly rely on OBJ. I think I'd be surprised. I'm expecting them to win this game. The 7 points, it's a lot to have this Browns team favored by 7 against anyone.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the Browns to cover the spread just because I think Washington they're not great. And I'm just going to, this seems to be that moment to me when the Browns are going to get a little bit, people are going to the hype train is going to come back a little bit because they're going to win this game again, maybe by kind of double digits. And people are going to start talking again about the Browns being a playoff team and Mayfield being back and OBJ. Like, there's no way they trade him now. So this seems the perfect game to me for the Browns to get people back on board.
Yeah, it's so the Browns hype train starts with the Bengals and the Washington victories. Yeah, it's for me, I think the Browns will win. I don't really have much question about that. But again, this is one of those lines where I looked a couple of days ago and it was about 5 maybe, and I would say the Browns cover 5, but then like I think it may have even been like 4.5, 5 3 or 4 days ago. But 7, I start to worry because of the way the Bengals came into that game at the end and made it a 5-point game when I agree with you. In reality, it shouldn't have been. And I kind of worry that might be a thing for the Browns. So I'm going to say that they cover the 7. So I'm going to say the Browns win, but Washington cover. So, yeah. So we're all going Browns. Panthers at the Chargers, and Chargers are 6.5-point favorites. Frank?
This is one that doesn't really interest me.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, moving
Sam?
on. Moving on, everyone.
No, it's just one of these games that at the end of the year, these teams are not going to be in the playoff hunt. I think the most interesting part about this game is, I'm sure you guys have read now about why Tyrod Taylor was out for that game. Sam, did you see the reason?
It's something to do with an injection, right?
Yeah, so he had bruised ribs from a practice, and the day of the game, his amazing team doctor went to inject him with painkillers and ended up puncturing his lung, which apparently happens about 1% of the time. So
Wow.
Some doctor that he hit that 1% mark.
I think Michael Jackson had the same doctor.
The interesting part is that the Chargers are the team. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years ago, they fired their team physician because he was apparently, I don't want to say like a fake doctor, but he was doing some really terrible things. Like he was botching surgeries and misdiagnosing people. Apparently there was 3 different players that he misdiagnosed their season-ending injuries, and he had 4 or 5 DUIs, and he ended up being barred from doing medicine at several San Diego hospitals. And then the Chargers decided to let him go. That's how far it got. So now they've got this new doctor who's a great upgrade, and only punctures lungs. He doesn't misdiagnose season-ending injuries, at least. But I think he's still out, Taylor. So Herbert's going to play again.
I thought I'd read that they are going back to Tyrod Taylor.
No, they're going back to Tyrod Taylor.
But he's not.
That's
he's
the
not
statement
healthy for this week.
But I'm not sure if he's ready to go this week. What last I heard, it was like questionable. Either way, I think they're the better team with either QB. Look, we talked about Herbert looked pretty good, but again, it's only 1 week. You know, he's a rookie. He's going to have bad weeks. And Tyrod Taylor is a better QB than people make him out to be. He's got a winning record, as a starter. He's not a bad QB. The Panthers, I still don't think they're that great. And is McCaffrey's out, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's not playing.
Yeah, so without
McCaffrey's out
McCaffrey,
for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, no chance. I'll take Chargers. What is the spread now? Because it was 6.5.
It still is. Yeah.
6. Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Chargers minus 6.5 and the Chargers to win.
Yeah, kind of similar logic for me. I actually think the Chargers might be a playoff team, so I'm a little bit more. I was really impressed by them with them last week, and mostly it's just defensively. Like when we previewed the Chiefs game, I kind of said like defensively they're good, and I was hesitant to take the Chiefs to cover the spread as a result of that. I didn't think they were going to get quite as close as they did to beating the Chiefs, but they definitely sort of reaffirmed those thoughts that defensively they are a force to be reckoned with. So when you then imagine that the Panthers aren't good and then now are missing probably their only offensive weapon, I'm pretty confident that the Chargers will win, and I think they'll cover that spread.
Yeah, I like the 6.5 spread because it gives you that touchdown win, right? Yeah, I completely agree with all the logics. I think decision making cost them against the Chiefs as opposed to kind of being defensively poor or something like that. I just think it was decision making that cost them. So I think the Panthers losing, as Eddie said, their main weapon. I think the 6.5 actually is a pretty attractive bet. So yeah, I'm going with the Chargers and 6.5. Now, next one is Jets at the Colts, and the line with this one is crazy. It's 11.5, and it was around 7 or 8 at the start of the week, and it is just, with good reason, right? I mean, the Jets are absolutely atrocious. So yeah, I guess after the back of the Colts win, for every reason that line's going to be increasing. But Eddie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to be straightforward. The Jets are total garbage, and I think the Chargers are. I mean, the Colts are good, so it's easy. Undoubtedly, the Colts are going to win this game, and 11.5 points doesn't scare me against the Jets.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll be straightforward then. I'm going to be picking against the Jets every week until they burn me several times. So I'm just going to put that out there right now. So straightforward, very simple for me.
I hate a double-digit spread. I just can't stand it. I hate when a game, say the Colts start slowly and they lose 2 quick touchdowns. That just suddenly looks impossible. And it bugs me how early double-digit spreads can be blown out just by...
I'll stop you there for a second, Sam.
Oh, no.
Even if you told me that the Jets were getting a 14-point head start, I think I'd still take the Colts to cover that.
The 11.5.
And then even the only thing you've said so far that is impossible is the idea of the Jets being up by 14 points at any stage of this game.
See, this is the problem. Like, I universally just hate backing double digits, but this is the Jets. I mean, this is one of the most garbage teams. And it probably is the most garbage team. And if Rivers and the Colts play the way they did last week, 11.5 shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go against my own logic here, and I'm saying they cover the 11.5. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that goes off at maybe 12.5 because it's moved by 4.5 points so far. So I think you would take 11.5 if it gets anywhere near 14. I don't know. Maybe I'd still take that. When would you? Okay, there's a question for you. When would you stop taking the Colts spreads?
17.5, 18 points. Until then, I would, and that would only make me. That's not stop. That's when I start thinking.
Yeah. All right.
The only hope the Jets have is if Sam Darnold can give the entire Colts team mono between now and kickoff.
Which is really tough in the COVID era. He might be able to make out with that first guy, but then having to make out with the 3-4 guys down the row is going to be difficult during COVID.
I mean, I'll watch.
Might stop him.
Frank, What about you? You're going Colts, but are you taking
Same.
the spread?
Yeah. You know what? At first I was thinking of taking the Jets with the points, but then you guys talked me into the fact that the Jets are fucking terrible. I am confident in saying they're the worst team in New York, and that's really saying something. So I'll take the Colts, and I'll take the Colts with the points.
And when would you stop with the Colts? Like, what would make you think?
20.
I'm trying to think of like the biggest point spread I've seen in NFL, and I'm pretty sure once about 3 or 4 years ago, it's like Green Bay were like minus like 20 or something like that, or like minus 19. What about you guys?
I've seen some 23s, 24s from time to time.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think I've maybe seen up to 25.
Well, especially college football. You'll see.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. So we're all basically expecting a complete Colts blowout there.
Yeah, so expect the Jets win.
If that would be, we might as well just give up the podcast, right? If that happens, based on what we've just said.
Well, hold on. I would need some more context. If that's the only one I get wrong and the Jets win, I'm not like,
no.
Wow, I must retire.
No, it's all over.
15-1 this week.
No, it's all over. It's all over for you. All right, Lions at Cardinals.
This is an exciting one.
Frank.
I want Frank to go first. Because
Come on, Frank. This is Lions. So they've got
team.
They've got Cardinals have got 5.5 points. Go.
Cardinals minus 5.5.
Yeah.
Well, this just pulls at my, what is it? Your heartstrings? Is that the phrase?
It can be.
Wow, you might pull at something else. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
No, it's just pulling at strings.
Pulls at my penis this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a diehard Cardinals fan. Everyone knows that about me, lifelong. So I'm going to have to go Cardinals. Eventually, the Lions have to start winning because I really don't think they're that bad of a team. And this could be the one where the Lions kind of trip up the Cards. Yeah, no, I'll stick with it. Cards to win. You know what? I'll throw the Lions a bone. I say they cover.
Wow, they'll be delighted to hear that.
Eddie,
I'll let Matt Patricia know, and he'll feel better about himself once he's heard that.
Just give him a cheeseburger, and I'll feel better about
there's a
himself
guy.
Anyway.
There's a guy eating his misery, but
Eddie, does it take one to know one? Eddie ate a whole turkey yesterday after his customer service call.
Just like some medieval king.
Yeah.
He just had a turkey leg in each hand.
Yeah.
Eating them at the same time.
on speakerphone as well, just so he can do it. So, Eddie, are you on the Kyler Murray bandwagon here at the Colt?
Nope, I refuse to get on board the Cardinals train.
All aboard. Okay, not Eddie.
Nope.
So you're on the Lions train. Wow.
No, I just think, I'm going to take the Lions to win. I think the Lions are not great, but I think they're not quite as bad as the results so far have made them look. I think that the Cardinals are good, but not as good as the results so far have made them look. And I'm going to assume that I'm going to see the same Cardinals I watched in the first half of the Niners game, and I think the Lions will win.
I don't actually have that much to say about this one, except I like what I see from the Cardinals, and I don't like what I see from the Lions. I do think they got blown out a bit by the Packers last week, and there's something to be said about Stafford keeping games closer than they probably should be as well. But so for that reason, I'm going with Cardinals, and I think they'll cover the spread at 5.5. On to Brady's Bucks at the Broncos. So the Bucks are 6-point favorites.
I thought you said Brady's butt.
Brady. No, I didn't. I've gone all flustered now.
Yeah, he'll take him hours to get his get his focus back.
Yeah, Eddie, kick us off whilst I try and.
Broncos look terrible. The Bucks still haven't really kicked into high gear yet, but I think even though I don't think they're going to be amazing at any point this year, I think they'll be good enough to win this game quite easily, and I think they cover the spread. I think, as the weeks go by, Brady and this offense are going to look better and better, and I just think this will be a slight improvement on week 2, and that will be too good for the Broncos.
Yeah, Drew Lock is below average QB, and he's out. So if your below average QB is out, it's not looking good. And Cortland Sutton is their best wide receiver, and he's out too. So you have basically no offense against a Bucs team that's going to at least put up 24. So I don't think the Broncos can score, more than a touchdown or two. So I'll take the Bucs to win and the Bucs with the points.
All right. You'll laugh. I'm actually going with the Broncos here. I think it's less to do with the Broncos and it's more to do with the Bucs. I just think after the 2 games, I still think Brady's offense is still working out kinks. I still think they're working out stuff. But I also think the Bucs defense is doing exactly that as well. And I think they're going to have good weeks and I think they're going to have bad weeks, but eventually they will come good nearer the kind of second half of the season. And I think everything will click. So I think the Broncos have got them at a good time. And I'm just going to go with the Broncos here. I think the 6 spread is kind of nice as well. So I'm going with the Broncos mainly because, like I said, I still think the Bucs are sorting themselves out, but in both senses of offense and defense. So, yeah, there we go. That's probably my more. Yeah, I'd probably say that one's more bold than the Bengals. for sure. So, yeah. And then we're on to two really good games now, aren't we? Packers at the Saints and Chiefs at the Ravens. So we could do these in tandem if you want, or speak about them individually, but you've got Saints are 3-point favorites at the Superdome at the Packers, and the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites against the Chiefs.
Wait, are you sure the Saints are favorites?
Yeah, 3 points.
Wow, that's crazy to me. Yeah, you're right. I don't really understand that for a Saints team that hasn't looked good in either game they've played. I mean, I know they're 1-1, but that offense has looked, to use Eddie's terminology, frail. Maybe they just start clicking, but until that happens, as much as it pains me to take the Packers, I'm going to have to take the Packers here. It's just, they seem to be clicking. They're running up points. Aaron Jones is a savage right now. And maybe it's too early. As much as it pains me to say, it's too early to think that Breeze is done, but maybe what we saw in that NFC Championship game where he didn't look that great, maybe that's going to be the new norm, and we're not going to see those deep bombs that we're so used to seeing him throw every few series, things like that. So, yeah, I'm going to go Packers on this one, and obviously I'll take them with 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew Brees is done, but fortunately for him, he's going to see a familiar face in Aaron Rodgers, and that might remind him that he was once quite a good quarterback. And so I think, the Packers have been good so far, and they obviously convincingly beat the Lions last week, but that game was close for a while, and actually the Packers looked like they were in a little bit of trouble at moments in that first half. So even with Michael, it looks like Michael Thomas is still going to be out for this game, and obviously that's a big miss for the Saints. But I think they kind of get things back together, and it's tough, right? Because primetime Aaron Rodgers is always scary. His record in primetime games is like phenomenal. But I'm going to take the Saints to cover the spread. And I might regret it because maybe the Packers are one of the best teams in the league. I don't believe it quite yet. So I'm not going to take them to beat the Saints on the road.
Wow. It's a little surprising from you.
I am a man of mystery, and so you never know what I'm going to do next.
Okay. I don't know. I wouldn't put you down as a man of mystery.
That's why I'm so mysterious, because you don't even realize it.
Fine. I have a question, though. This is probably the thing with the Superdome, right, is that a lot of people say that it really plays to the Saints. Like, the Saints play really well at the Superdome, and then you've got the Broncos with the kind of high stadium, etc. Like, is home field advantage really? I haven't seen many stats on this, so I don't know. I guess I'm just asking, maybe from a perspective. But what about the home field advantage for certain clubs? It feels like the Saints are one of those where home field advantage is a genuine thing.
Well,
they
every
are.
once in a while,
we've talked about this. Like, it's a huge stadium, and they're super loud and crazy, but they're not there, right? I mean, I think a big part of home field advantage is having the noise and the crowd. And without the crowd, I don't know, is it really a home field advantage anymore?
Well, you also have to factor in with the Superdome. Every once in a while, they can do that really cool thing like the Romans used to do with the Colosseum, and they can just flood it and like treat it like do some naval battles there. So they have that going. There's not a lot of NFL stadiums you can do that with. No. But yeah, no. I mean, it's the crowd noise, right, and the difficulty communicating. And you've had Aaron Rodgers openly speak about the fact that that's really changed the dynamic. Like, he spoke about going week 1 and playing the Vikings, which is normally one of the louder stadiums in the league, and suddenly being able to communicate effectively with everyone on the field. Like, he could talk to a wide receiver, whereas normally he was struggling just to talk to his center. So, that's going to make a huge difference. And I think you've seen it so far in the season where definitely, when we talked about this going into week 2, there have been moments late in games. I think the Seattle-New England game was a really good example of that. There were moments when, like, New England was, like, driving down the field, for example, to try and win the game. I think that would have been a lot harder if you'd had, the Seattle 12th man making tons of noise and Cam Newton unable to really communicate with anyone else on the offense. Would have been a completely different prospect for them. And this one's similar. Like, Aaron Rodgers will feel comfortable. He'll be able to talk to everyone. He's going to draw some people offside with the hard count because he's probably the best in the league at doing that. So it's a miss. I mean, I think the Saints would probably be 6-point favorites if this was a packed Superdome. But I think 3 points is a fair adjustment based on the fact that they're kind of losing that home field advantage.
Yeah. This interests me because obviously I was looking at that home field advantage thing as well. But you look at it, right? I think Green Bay have put up, 42 points in the last game? And then I think something similar in the first game. So clearly they score a lot. But you also look at the Saints defensively, and I think they got to Carr like 3 times, and I think in the previous one as well, defensively they did well. So I don't know. I don't like it when you've got Hall of Famers like Drew Brees and saying they're done. He was missing wide open receivers, etc. But I don't know. I really don't know about this one. So I'm probably going to massively regret it, but I think I want to go Saints. I like the idea of Breeze bouncing back. I'm going to regret it. I know I'm going to regret it, but I like the idea of him bouncing back. So I'm going to go Saints and cover the spread. I can't. I don't think I could pick like the Saints to win, but not cover 3. I think that's such a small margin.
It's a pretty bold. Try and thread the needle like that. It's
to have 1 or 2 basically. It's crazy. So you've got to say that they cover 3 if they're winning. So that's the only reason I'm going with that. So, and then last but most definitely not least, Chiefs at the Ravens, and Ravens 3.5-point favorites.
This is a great matchup. I mean, the only thing that disappoints me is it's a little early in the season, and you're seeing the Chiefs, I don't think are up to 100% yet, whether that they're just kind of working into it with their offense or not. Whereas the Ravens do look like the more complete team right now. Having said that, I will never go against Mahomes in a big game. He's a gamer. He's a baller, and I'll take him. So Chiefs with the points, obviously.
Yeah, I'm expecting, obviously, to see a repeat of this matchup in the playoffs. And when it comes to playoff time, I will be taking Mahomes and the Chiefs. But in this game, I just haven't liked what I've seen from the Chiefs all that much so far. And so, whereas the Ravens have done everything that they can do to be as impressive as you can be through 2 games. And so I'm taking the Ravens in this one.
It's okay, Eddie. The Chiefs don't like what they've seen in you either, so it's mutual.
Well, starting QB for the 49ers.
Yeah, I got a few reps. But and I think the Chiefs are the better team. So it's hard for me in a sense to pick against that because they could easily click into, good form either before this game or during this game. But until I really see them hit those heights against arguably the second or third best team in the league, I'm taking the Ravens.
Okay. Legitimately, you could see the way the Ravens are playing right now. I think you could legitimately see them going like 16-0 at the moment. I think the ground game is so good and Lamar Jackson's so good as well. And exactly the same reason as Eddie just said, I just think fundamentally at the moment they are better than the Chiefs. I expect that to be way more even, if not the other way around, when they do probably inevitably meet in the playoffs. But at the moment, I think the Ravens are just the better all-round package. I'm taking the Ravens, and I think they'll cover that 3.5.
It's also worth pointing out the Chiefs could not stop the run in week 2 against the Chargers. So if you can't stop the Chargers running game, I don't know how you're going to stop the Ravens running game. So, that's another reason that this is maybe not the right time for the matchup, and also maybe not a great matchup for the Chiefs right now.
Okay. So if you can remember, what would be your...
You forgot a game.
Week? Did I?
Yeah, I forgot Cowboys Seahawks, didn't you? Or is my CTE kicking in?
No,
I did. No, yeah, good spot. All right. Your CTE might be kicking in. It's unrelated. Cowboys at the Seahawks. So you got Seahawks 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah, so Troy Aikman, he's a great QB. Emmitt Smith running the ball well. So I'm going to take the Cowboys over the Seahawks.
Yeah, talking about Troy Aikman, I know we talked about Baker Mayfield waking up feeling dangerous again. I did like Troy Aikman's comment during the Thursday Night Football game last week when they were speaking about that. And Troy Aikman made the comment, he was asked, like, how often do you wake up feeling dangerous? And he says, I wake up feeling dangerous every morning. I just don't have anything to do with it.
No, but seriously, I mean, Tony Romo looks great. So I think the Cowboys offense is clicking.
Okay, we're gonna do how many times we're gonna do this joke?
Yeah. So you think Cowboys and they're covering 4.5? Yeah.
Are you sure though? Are you sure though that Tony Romo's not gonna like fumble the snap? Maybe on a field goal attempt or something. That might come into play here in a game against the Seahawks.
That is true. I forgot all about that. That was the Seahawks. No, but I mean, I'm going to stick with Russell Wilson. He's a savage right now. -5 is not that much considering I don't believe the Cowboys are a very good team. They should have lost against the Falcons. Eddie is happy to know that they did not lose, but
wait, they didn't lose?
No, you can step off the ledge.
Oh my God, I need to check on a few things.
Yeah, I'll take Seahawks and Seahawks to cover.
I'd be interested to know the overs in this one. The over under.
It is 56.
Yeah, because I saw a stat that the Cowboys lead the NFL at the moment with 49 offensive plays over 10 yards, and the Seahawks lead the NFL with allowing 47 plays of 10 yards. So completely high scoring. I think people are going to be scoring quickly. They're going to be throwing quickly as well. But on the logic, I'm still going with the Seahawks and Wilson. I just think Wilson is an absolute beast at the moment. And I can't see the Cowboys doing anything like they did against the Falcons, mainly because they're not playing the Falcons. So I'm going with the Seahawks. I've gone with them every week as well. So
that always helps, Sam.
Yeah, it does, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think the Cowboys are so depleted defensively. We talked about the Niners injury problems. The Cowboys might even be worse off just because they don't have the same level of depth in some areas. So I think when you look at how they've been hurt in the linebacker department, and then you imagine that you're going to try and stop Russell Wilson, the Seahawks running game, and the weapons that they have around him at wide receiver, I just can't see it happening. So I'm taking the Seahawks to win and to cover the spread.
And now I think we've done all the NFL.
So what's everyone's kind of like nab? What's your best bet out of all of that?
Well, I guess it's worth saying because obviously week one, Frank, you're better the week one at 4-1. Sam, week one, you're better the week one at sort of around 2-1.
Yeah,
in that
2.5. It's somewhere around there, wasn't it?
Yeah, my bet of the week lost week one because of the Niners. My bet of the week for week 2 won. Sam's bet of the week for week 2 also won. Frank, unfortunately, your bet of the week didn't come in. You were a little bit unlucky in that picking Timo Werner to score and Chelsea going down to 10 men 40 minutes into it, and then also Timo Werner not taking the penalty that he won. You were a little bit unlucky there. It wasn't the best situation for a goal scorer bet. But it does mean that each week so far we're hitting 2 out of 3 bets of the week. And if you put equal stakes on all of our bets, you'd be really profitable for the year so far. So having said all that, so that people really pay attention, now, Frank, what's your bet of the week?
It's got to be the Texans -4, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do -4, but I'll give you a treble of all underdogs. Give me Texans, Packers, Chiefs.
Just to let you know, Texans -4, you get a shade under 3-1.
Not bad.
That-
You are
that's-
getting
That's pretty good as an outright.
that treble is returning 17.17.
Love it.
That's a bold bet of the week. Okay. Eddie?
All right, I'm going for another fivefold here. I'm pushing the acceptable limits of an accumulator / parlay as a tipped bet of the week, but I'm going for it. And I'm combining all these are just money line. Niners, Falcons, Eagles, Browns, and Colts. And that pays 5.35.
Eddie, why take 5 teams? We can just take 3 teams like me and get a better payout.
Well, we'll see which one wins. Probably neither one, but we'll see. And I do have, I will say, I'll save it for towards the end, but I do have another bet of the week that pays 7-2. That's my real bet of the week, but it's not football related, and I will save that.
Wait. So this isn't the bet of the week we're doing now?
No, this is my solid bet of the week that's probably going to interest people, but I have a different bet of the week that I'll save for the end. A little bit of a teaser here, so people get to listen to the next 40 minutes. And that's going to be my maybe more solid bet of the week in many respects. It's just a single at 7-2, but I'll save that for a little bit.
Okay. Have you got the odds up at the moment that you could maybe find me? Because I want to tease one of the lines.
Okay.
I want to tease the Titan line to about 7, like maybe 6.5, 7, 7.5, somewhere around there.
Okay, so you want Titans -6.5 points?
Yeah.
That's 2.55.
2.55. All right, I want that. And I'm going to hate this for my bet of the week, but I think the Colts at that 11.5 is a really attractive offering. So I want to put the Titans -6.5 tease line with the Colts -11.5. So that's going to be what, 2.5 with a 10 to 11?
4.86.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, you like that? What are you, Kirk Cousins now?
Inject into my veins. All right, there we go. Week 3. Interesting week 3. Lots of close games.
Yeah, it's a good week. It's a good week to be watching the NFL. You're gonna have, and especially because I think the Bills are an early game, so that's a really nice early game to be able to watch. Bills, Rams, and then you have some decent afternoon games with, I guess, Cowboys Seahawks would be the best one in the afternoon games. You have the 2-0 Cardinals, and you have the Bucks in a must-win kind of against the shitty team, and then you have a good night game, and then a good Monday night game. So, yeah, good week.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
So, what else do we have on the agenda?
Well, I've got 2 interesting matches in the Premier League this weekend. 2 fairly important ones. It's going to be an interesting test for the 2, expected title challengers. So you have City at home to Leicester, and you have Liverpool playing Arsenal. And, that's kind of, we all predicted Leicester and Arsenal to be in the sort of 5th, 6th, 7th range. So it's an interesting test of the top 2 against those teams sort of fighting for European places / trying to make it into the top 4. So an interesting, obviously Liverpool coming off the back of beating, both of them in a sense passed quite difficult tests last week. City and beating Wolves away, and Liverpool and beating Chelsea. And now we'll see if they can follow that up with 2 good results. If they both win, you'd say both of them will be very pleased with their starts to this season.
Yeah. You're forgetting Liverpool's win tonight against Lincoln. Obviously set them up really well.
Huge, yeah. And City beat Bournemouth. So those were,
Yeah.
maybe their most difficult tests so far, really.
Yeah. it's Carabao Cup's obviously massive. I think it sets up Liverpool-Arsenal tie in that as well for the next round of the Carabao Cup because they beat Leicester. But they're two good games. But another game that interests me, not because it'll be a good game, is just to see how Man U react. They've got that awkward first game out, the 12:30 kickoffs. We know we all hate them because we always watch Celtic ruin ample amounts of bets by playing the early Saturday games. But it will be interesting to see what Man U do second game of the season. Again, Brighton, one of those teams that we probably all think is going to be around that kind of like 14th to 17th finish mark. Similar Crystal Palace, but we probably think they're going to be a bit better now. But Man U was so bad in that first game. It will be really interesting to see how they bounce back against a Brighton team. So it's an interesting first game, if not an exciting one. But I think Liverpool-Arsenal is the highlight, right?
Yeah, I love those early 4:30 a.m. kickoffs for me. Those are great to get up and watch.
The only other thing to say about United, I watched their Carabao Cup match on Tuesday or whenever it was. Solskjaer's body language on the touchline was so negative that he was just sort of sitting on the steps, looking vaguely suicidal for most of the match.
Because he's in Luton.
Yeah, it's true. That's justified. but yeah, no, that's not a great sign for them. I expect them to bounce back, but the Liverpool Arsenal one's the most interesting match. I
was pissed. Wait, just real quick, going back to that United match for the cup. I was pissed because I wanted Mason Greenwood to score, but the match started before I could get it in, and then on my site, once the match starts, you can't do any of those player prop bets anymore. And of course, what does he do? He scores in like the 92nd minute, so it would have been a really nice victory for me, And of course, you're looking at it. I looked at the flash scores. I was like, oh, good, he didn't score. And then, of course, I checked the final, and I was like, oh, they had another goal, and of course, Mason Greenwood. But
the Luton game's weird. Like Dean Henderson had his Man U debut as well, right? And he came off the pitch and he was basically saying how it was a magical debut because he actually played pretty well and made some pretty important saves. But that's pretty depressing, right? To be at Luton away and your goalkeeper coming out saying, I had a really good debut because I had to play really well and be focused because Luton were knocking at our door quite a lot. It was a bit of a worrying one, but as Eddie says as well, the thing with Man U and that team is there's a real momentum feel about them as well. They do feel like that team is when they're down, confidence is a little bit down, they'll continue to play badly. And last season it needed Bruno Fernandes to step up and change that, but now he's there and they're not looking like they're signing anyone at the moment. There's not really any rumours that are positive or attractive for where they need positions like a centre back. It's if they don't perform well against Brighton and get a win, you would start to see those heads just continue to sink, and it might be a really bad start for them.
I got to be honest, I don't even know where Luton is in the UK.
Most people don't.
Yeah, it's kind of. Do you know where Watford is?
Imagine just picture a map of England, and then try and picture the area of England you would care the least about, and wherever that is, that's where Luton's located.
Yeah, it's like it's basically above London, probably about 30 miles out maybe of London, like north. It's got a really shitty airport.
Kind of know, the airport. You will kind of know where Luton is because on one of our Royal Ascot trips, if you recall, when Austin came, he was tricked into because it's listed as a London. It was listed as a London airport, so Austin decided to fly into Luton, thinking that it would make getting into London fairly quick and easy, and he quickly found out that he had made a huge mistake, and so it took him a couple of hours to get to our airport.
Oh, it's so bad.
You actually need to get a bus to get to the station to get the 30-40 minute train. Maybe like the half an hour, maybe at best, because I knew they do this like Luton Express. But that is the type of airport where it is really, really busy at 5 a.m. in the morning with drunk people going to like Ibiza, Alicante. Like the airport bars are rammed busy at 5 a.m. It's that kind of airport. Did you boys see Charlie Appleby with Gaiath? Basically said that there's more negatives than positives at the moment for an ARC run. His reason for it was that they like to give him a lot of time. They like to give Gaiath a lot of time between races, and they said that the shortest time was between the most recent one where he lost the Champion Stakes and the what did he win previously? I can't remember. Where he beat Magical. I can't remember the race. No, where he beat Magical about 3.
Juddmonte?
Yeah, it's the Juddmonte. And basically he said that was the shortest time between races, and it kind of showed that they shouldn't do that with this horse. So he's saying that that's why there's more negatives about an ARC run. But he did say because of that, there's probably more potential for a Breeders' Cup run.
Well, we should probably cover...
Gaiath's probably
not running the ARC.
Running in the... Gosh,
he is unlikely to be running the ARC.
Who's been telling you that for 2 months?
I don't even know why I brought this up.
I don't know.
Some arrogant
asshole.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, I do wonder though if Gaiath wasn't turned over by Magical, I wonder if that's the rhetoric. They probably would have run him because you wouldn't have had this issue about a short term between races. They would have said, "Oh, well, he can do it regardless of the amount of time between races." Yeah. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we should probably wait till next Thursday because then we can do a full ARC preview. But what seems to be happening now is, more and more horses seem to kind of be bowing out. So I think Magical now is not going to race in it either. And you're basically just left with Love and Enable. So this amazing race that we had in our heads
really shit
2 months ago is now just Gosden versus O'Brien. Great.
Well, there's
more
French horses.
More versus the Tory.
We'll do it next week, but there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, you're right. Enable's not even worth betting. So
too old. Past his prime.
Hey Eddie, how's that internet doing? just get him going.
I'll remain cool, calm, and composed.
So, Sam, I just want to touch back. Now that I'm a huge Arsenal supporter, just like you, what do we think our chances are?
Oh, what, in the Liverpool game?
Yeah.
Shit, we were talking about that at one point, weren't we? I think it's an interesting test for both of them. Like Liverpool will say that they've had a good start to the season, like overcoming, Chelsea the way they did, and Arsenal, like that's tough games. And so to have 3 wins out of 3 with 2 pretty tough teams is a really good start. I think Arsenal as well, this is a step up. So they've won all Community Shield and Carabao Cup included. They've won everything put in front of them, including beating Liverpool. Recently, though, Arsenal under Arteta have had they haven't lost to Klopp, which is quite interesting. So they beat him in the Premier League at the end of last season. Beat him in the Community Shield just happened. So I think Arsenal have a recent record of getting turned over pretty badly at Anfield. They leak goals for fun. It doesn't look like this Arsenal team will do that. So for me, I'm inclined to say. I'm actually inclined to say draw in this one. Maybe score draw, maybe 1-1. I think Arsenal are going to put up a good performance, and I think having this game out of the way early is good for Arsenal as well, because this is one of those games that could, as like last season, can be a real momentum killer for Arsenal. They could win 6 in a row and then easily turn up at Anfield, get stuffed 6-0, and then all of a sudden go on a terrible run. So I'm going to go with the score draw. I think Arsenal look good.
Yeah, I think if you go back to that Liverpool-Chelsea match and you look just at the first half, did Liverpool play the better first half? Yeah. Did they play a spectacular first half? No, not really. Chelsea had 1 or 2 chances. Liverpool controlled the ball a lot, but Chelsea still had opportunities to score, and I think that's how you beat a Liverpool team is you just make the most of your opportunities that you're going to get, and you get up a goal early and then kind of rattle them a little bit. So I think Arsenal could maybe do that. They have they have the speed and they have the talent to kind of get like a quick strike goal like that. And if they can get out to a lead, I think a draw is a definite possibility. You know, Arsenal have won the last 8 matches they played. You know, they're hot right now. So I like the bet of a draw. You know, maybe it's just, you know, me with Arsenal running through my blood now. So, but
on your shoes.
Yeah, mostly just on my feet, but a little through my blood.
I think Eddie's pick will be pretty obvious, but curious for this confirmation. I'm curious for Eddie. I think Eddie is seeing Eddie's seeing like a 2 or 3-0 win for Liverpool here.
I don't have that level of confidence, but I do think Liverpool will win it. What I really want to know is, do you think I could buy some Kirk Cousins shoes?
Ooh.
Would that be?
Probably. Maybe you can buy his cleats. You just walk around in cleats all day. They would never not know when you're coming into work. Hey, who's this? Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Oh, Eddie's here.
I want Eddie to go the whole Hulk now and just wear the whole Kirk Cousins with the helmet.
Eddie, do you think Kirk Cousins has his own brand of Land Rollers?
Oh, it's possible. Just nice purple skates.
Those would be so cute.
Yeah, I'll look into that. If not, maybe I'll call Land Rollers up and see if we can release a new range.
The Kirk Cousins range. I'm imagining there's got to be a limited run on that.
I don't think so. You don't underestimate the potential.
So
Eddie,
no opinion on the Liverpool Arsenal match?
No, I mean I said already. I think Liverpool will win. I
thought you were going to do more, but
no, not really.
You got sidetracked on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking about him now and picturing him in Land Rollers. But no, I think Liverpool haven't been super impressive so far, but at the same time, I think Arsenal are still. I'm not trusting them defensively, and I think that this Liverpool team will pick them apart a bit. So. Yeah, I'm expecting. My really confident move in this would be sort of an over 1.5, which I'm sure doesn't pay not big returns, but that one I would really like because I think there's no scenario in which you have fewer than 2 goals in this match. But I think Liverpool will win.
I'll give you a good toss up. In what match are there more total goals? That match or City Leicester?
I'm going to take the City-Leicester match because I think that City are looking sort of pretty potent at the moment, so to speak. And I think that,
non-frail.
Yeah,
non-frail.
Yeah. And I think that even though Leicester defensively are quite good, I think also you can count on City conceding because they just tend to concede. So I think in the City match, you're probably looking at least 3-1. So you'd be bold to then be predicting more than 4 goals in any other match.
Yeah.
I think that question.
I think if you asked me 18 months ago, I'd probably say Liverpool-Arsenal because Liverpool would have smashed Arsenal and they have a good record of smashing Arsenal at Anfield as well. So I'd actually probably have gone with that. But Arsenal look a better outfit, and I think the Man City-Leicester game has a bigger capacity for goals. So I probably agree with Eddie. I think you could probably see maybe 3 or 4 in that game. Whereas Arsenal, I'd probably say a couple.
So anything else on the minds, boys?
Did you guys see the news about Wrexham? So, Frank, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a football team in the 5th tier of English football. So that is it's called the National League. It's kind of where English football straddles between kind of professional and non-professional, and it's kind of some teams in there are recent teams and they may not be professional. Some are, relatively speaking, fairly fallen giants. But it's come out today that Ryan Reynolds is interested in buying them.
What a handsome fella!
What's interesting about it is no one understands why. Him.
Is he part of a consortium, or is it Ryan Reynolds trying to buy them?
It's Ryan Reynolds, and I can't remember the actor's name from, what is it? It's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Rob Kennehay or something like that. I can't remember the actor's name, but there's two of them. And they have formed a consortium to buy Wrexham. And at the moment, Wrexham is actually owned by the fans. So it's the supporters trust. So they had a vote recently to continue talks. And it was funny. They were speaking with the manager. And they were basically saying, is this a good thing? Is, ownership like this a bit trivial, etc.? And he was like, well, Wrexham is one of the oldest clubs in the world. We've won like a European Cup. They beat Porto in a European Cup. And we've got one of the oldest stadiums in the world. And they were like, yeah, but do you worry about kind of being trivialized with an actor owning you? He was like, I don't really care. They plan to put like 2 million into the club. So that goes to show you the kind of care that they have. As soon as money's flashed in front of them, they're absolutely fine. But what I loved about it was that obviously now it's come out that Ryan Reynolds might be buying them. One of Wrexham's biggest rivals are called Chester. And because just really close vicinity with each other, basically. And the rumor is now that Hugh Jackman might buy Chester just out of complete spite to have that rivalry.
If Hugh Jackman buys Chester, we'll have to do an entire episode dedicated to Hugh Jackman, because we've got some great Hugh Jackman debate to have then.
Yeah, epic. But the funny thing is it must be nice to have this much money that you're just buying semi-professional sports teams to hold together a fake grudge.
To be fair here, in both instances, I bet that the cost of actually physically buying the clubs is probably in single figures. The question will be taking on their
debt. It was single figures as
no,
seven?
It's a pound. It could theoretically.
Yeah.
There's many instances where clubs are bought for a pound because their debt is 120 million.
So the upfront cost isn't the issue here. It's the question of, can you then cover their operating, because they're definitely making a loss.
Yeah. At the
so
moment,
can you then cover that, and then if you do want to try and invest in the club to try and take them to a, but also the pressure on owners to invest now with the financial fair play rules, you're so limited in what you can do. Now, admittedly, I would be, the financial fair play rules probably don't apply at the level Wrexham are at, because that was kind of how Salford were able to push their way up to the Football League so quickly. Is it wasn't until they made League Two that it really mattered. It's a fun venture. I obviously speak as a Blackburn Rovers supporter, and I've probably experienced the worst possible outcome of a owner takeover. I mean, not quite the worst, because obviously there've been a few clubs go under and stuff, but we've been as mismanaged as possible. So I'm always a little bit skeptical about someone buying it when they may not know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a savvy businessman. I mean, he bought Mint Mobile, which is like a low budget mobile phone service company that apparently has turned the corner and is profitable now for him. And then he bought Aviation Gin, and he turned that back for a handsome profit.
So what you're saying is he's identified Wrexham.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're calling him a savvy businessman and then saying he's thinking of buying Wrexham, then no.
Eddie, maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe he's seen it.
Well, I've seen Wrexham because my dad's actually from really near to Wrexham. My uncle's a Wrexham supporter. So
really?
I'm very familiar with the area. My dad's from Malpas in Cheshire, which is just a border with Wrexham. So pretty familiar with the region. There's not a lot going for Wrexham, and I mean that in the kindest possible way. But the Wrexham are not going to be the next big thing in English/Welsh football. So, from an investment perspective, it's a loser. Now,
hey, if you slap that Aviation Gin on their shirts, get some good sponsorship going.
I mean, that could happen, right? That's ultimately one of the things that these people bring in, but.
Look, I remember Venky's buying Blackburn, and a few weeks later seeing Akon holding a Blackburn Rovers shirt, and links to Ronaldinho, David Beckham, just about everyone, and playing in the Championship. So I'm not going to be too excited about Ryan Reynolds turnaround.
Yeah, if I was Wrexham fans, I'd look at it as one of those clubs that they will lose interest and leave. And it goes on to like this wider discussion about ownership, because what was it recently, like Notts County, where they had like Sol Campbell, Sven-Göran Eriksson managing them. And then the money left and they basically collapsed as a club. You had the similar situation with Wigan, where they were just so poorly mismanaged by that, like a Thai owner, I think, who basically had no care in football, basically put them in administration within about 2 days of the buyout. Has agreed to like waive the debt and that's to help them out. But I think it is a genuine problem, because for Ryan Reynolds, this is just trivial, right? But Wrexham are one of the oldest clubs in the world, and they do play at one of the oldest stadiums in England, well, in Wales actually, and England. But there are fans of Wrexham, and they could see their club either. They could see their club.
Yeah, your uncle.
Yeah, he might be the only one.
Yeah, there is a fan of Wrexham, and you
have 1 degree of freedom of knowing one.
but you could see your club torn apart by this, because as soon as they lose interest, they're out, and you've got a massive debt black hole. You can't sustain yourself. You're done.
Just to finish my uncle's story, my uncle is undoubtedly the only Wrexham / Green Bay Packers fan in the world. That much can be said about him.
Oh, did I meet him?
Yeah, you met him at the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him being a Packers fan.
Yeah.
So he didn't lead with the Wrexham part?
Well, no, because Frank was American, and he told the story about how when he was a kid, he used to tune into the American service radio to listen to sports, and because the Packers were obviously, one of the more popular teams, they almost always had the Packers game on, so that's how he became a Packers fan.
It's a good story.
60s / 70s.
That was the second best link to America story I got, because obviously being the only American at the party, everyone would kind of have their oh, you're American? Well, this is my American story. But one of Eddie's friends of the family was like, oh, where are you from? Or where are you living? I was like, oh, I'm living in Tucson. It's like this little city in southern Arizona. She's like, oh, I've been there. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. I toured all through the States, and I spent some time there. And then I was up in Detroit, and I was in the halftime of the Super Bowl. And we're like, wait, what? Time out? She's like, yeah, I was part of the halftime show for the Super Bowl. And we're like, this year it's Shakira and J-Lo, and 30 years ago it was you? It's a big deal. And she was like, yeah, maybe it wasn't a big deal back then, but it was me and this, she was in not like a Peace Corps thing, but some.
It was a choir or something.
Was it? I thought it was like.
Wait, how did you confuse the Peace Corps and a choir?
No, I thought it was like some sort of I thought it was kind of like a community
putting on the halftime show.
No, I thought it was like kind of like a community service thing.
They were like, at halftime of the Super Bowl, we're going to dig a well.
We're going to dig a well, teach some poor people English literacy, and spread Christianity around the stadium.
I wouldn't go around the 30-yard line right now, because this is a pretty deep well. It's going to be a little bit dangerous in the second half.
Is that all the Peace Corps does? Dig wells?
Not far off.
No, but I thought she was in some sort of nonprofit community service thing, and that they were she was marching across, not actually performing.
No,
but maybe
sang.
That was wrong.
She sang. That was the thing. She actually legit. But her reasons for being in the U.S. were, I think, for some other reason. But then I think she was part of a choir, and then that choir performed. But no, going back to the issue of ownership in football, to me, the only solution, right, is that I think new owners have to put a certain amount of money in escrow or something, because so far the fit and proper tests that they do for new owners in England, it's just not working.
It doesn't work.
And you just can't have these situations where clubs, it means so much to people, and to watch their club just be dismantled by someone who has decided it would be a fun plaything for a little bit of time. And I'm not saying that will be the case with Ryan Reynolds. This obviously happened several times already. And in some instances, teams have been saved, right? It nearly happened to City with Thaksin Shinawatra or whatever his name was. And it was only the fact that they then found someone wealthier to bail them out and take them on to that next level that didn't end up in being another horrific story of another club. Wigan, in a way, is the saddest one because Dave Whelan was such a good owner and cared so deeply about the club. So to then watch them be sort of stripped apart after he'd made the decision to sell them, it must be sort of heartbreaking for him. Yeah. But yeah, no, they've got to fix it. Like Blackburn, the only redeeming feature you can say about Venky's, about the rows, is that at least now they are paying all the bills to keep the club going, which at the moment, those bills are ever increasing with no fans being there and no prospect. At a club like Blackburn, I don't think they're going to have fans there at all this season. So that's a huge drop in revenue. And that's even more reason to make sure that you have owners taking charge who have the financial ability, and not only the ability, but the intention of supporting the clubs when things do go badly.
No, exactly. And the fit and proper thing came up for the Newcastle takeover, right? Because Mike Ashley, who is not fit and proper as an owner, was trying to sell it to the Saudis.
He's not fit and proper as a person.
Yeah, he's not fit and proper as a humour. He looks basically
he's a Jabba the Hutt.
He's basically the closest thing humanity has to a bacon bap. It's absolutely insane. But he was trying to sell to a Saudi consortium that had links with the Saudi prince, of which most countries in the world are doing some element of an arms embargo against. And yet, they're trying to buy a Premier League club. And you had Newcastle fans screaming for this Saudi takeover because they hate Mike Ashley that much. But I think they must have known the risks with that they'll just bail in 3 years when they realize that Newcastle are a pretty bang average team.
It's tough, right? Because the situation, the financial landscape in English football and European football at the moment is such that unless you do have a wealthy owner really pumping money in, you've got no chance. You can try and be well run and kind of perform well for a few years, but there's too many teams now with people pumping. You even look at Everton, right? You've got a mid-table side having major money pumped into them. So if you're coming up to try and do it the kind of old-fashioned fair way of gradually building a squad and getting better and bringing people through your academy or whatever, it's not going to be good enough.
Yep.
So that's the issue as a supporter, is you kind of have to hope for some wealthy, benevolent figure to decide to invest in your club, but it comes with the obvious risk that as soon as they decide to pull the plug, you're absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Yep. As soon as they pull out, you're done for, right? Is that what they say?
What I did, touching on one other footballing topic, I don't know if you saw, probably should have brought it up when we were discussing Liverpool, but I don't know if you saw the clip from Jurgen Klopp's reaction when Christensen was sent off for Chelsea.
No.
Because obviously it went through VAR review. And when the decision was made to send him off, a bunch of the Chelsea players and staff started applauding, which obviously you could hear because there's no one in the stadium. And Jurgen Klopp very angrily turned around to them and told them, "You don't do that. You don't cheer for a red card. You don't do that. What are you doing? You never do that."
What?
Yeah, it's a clip. I'll send it to you afterwards. But he very aggressively tells them that you don't applaud a red card.
When was this? In the Chelsea match?
Yeah. When the red card was issued.
I'll have to say, the more I watch him as a manager, he's very touchy, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very touchy. If I were a player, it's borderline uncomfortable. He's giving back massages and stuff, warming up the shoulders. That's true in
general. I've been watching more. I didn't complete the whole Amazon sort of documentary series about Spurs, but I've been watching more of it recently. And even you see with Jose Mourinho, he's very touchy with players. It just runs in football that it's what you do.
Oh, okay. You just sexually harass the team.
Yeah.
They're basically
gymnasts
gay without being gay. That's essentially.
Now, obviously I've been very negative about Eric Dyer throughout this podcast. What was interesting in watching the Amazon series is One person who is not negative about Eric Dyer is Jose Mourinho. He is very complimentary of him at every moment. Now, I think he might be a little bit swayed by the fact that Eric Dyer speaks fluent Portuguese, so they communicate with each other in Portuguese, which is kind of an interesting thing to see. But he does compliment him on the fact that he's the only Spurs player who actually has any fight in him on the pitch, and that the rest of them are all just too friendly.
And how he's got really strong, broad shoulders.
Yeah, and then he just rips into Dele Alli constantly.
I mean, Spurs again. Did you see Mourinho tonight in the game against a team genuinely I can't pronounce? But Mourinho at the start of the game was basically screaming at the officials because he thought that the goalposts were too small.
Maybe he's right.
You've got these amazing pictures of him basically just like full on arms out, like screaming at the referee, and they still left it late tonight. I mean, they're 1-1 to the 70th minute. And
yeah.
They are, I mean, going back to your point, Eddie, about kind of money getting spent into mid-table teams, they are one season away of not spending again from potentially dropping out of the top 10. Like, it's getting kind of congested below them.
That might be a bit dramatic just from the perspective that in order for them to drop out of the top 10, they'd have to sell some of their better players. And at least from the time when they sold Gareth Bale, that is a moment when they would reinvest. So you would know that, okay, if they sell Harry Kane for whatever it is, say 80 million, 90 million, whatever amount he goes for at that time, they're going to reinvest that sum of money into their squad. Now, what you would also have to say, given everything we've just spoken about, the Spurs approach is admirable. They run Spurs like a proper business. And if you're a Spurs supporter, you at least know that whilst they might not win the league anytime soon, they're also not going bust anytime soon. So they at least have that going for them. In both the cases of both Arsenal and Spurs, you have to give them credit for the fact that they are actually running somewhat sensible businesses. And it would be better if more football clubs did adopt that approach.
Yeah, I'd say the new stadia did that for them, though. I think maybe they would have been a little bit more cavalier if they didn't have these huge debts. But then again, they're at different stages, right? Arsenal's now paid off, and you've started to see with like Pepe and things like that they are spending money.
Yeah, but then they signed Pepe, Spurs, so then they probably realized, good God, we don't do that.
I'm happy to give Pepe a little bit more time. Yeah.
Sadly, defenders won't give him more time on the ball, so that's...
All right, boys. I've got to skedaddle.
Oh, before you do, though, I teased my real bet of the week.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Before we wrap this up quickly, we've got so many cycling fans out there. Right on the heels of the Tour de France, we have the World Cycling Championship coming up this weekend. Going to be a real spectacle, worth tuning in for. And my tip of the week is Wout van Aert to win the men's World Cycling Championship at 7-2. I think he is a very, very solid bet.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thanks for that one.
Well, you laugh now when I'm talking about that 7-2 winner on Monday. You won't be laughing then.
Yeah, I probably still will.
Yeah, mainly because of the name.
Van Aert.
Oh.
A-E-R-T.
All right, well, let's get off this podcast so we can go watch that great Jags game.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's a good way to put myself to sleep.
Yeah.
You sure it's not talking to customer service?
Same time.
It's closed.
All right. Talk to you later, boys.
See ya.
Cheerio.